Alright, what's up everybody? Brian here, and this is my Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live key points recap to talk about some of the things that happened this past Monday night on Raw, as well as last night on SmackDown Live, and to give my thoughts on both shows as far as key points are concerned. So let's get right into it. Starting off with Raw. A lot of things to talk about as far as that episode is concerned from this past Monday. One is we saw the return of Roman Reigns, who has not been seen on WWE television since October 22nd of last year, where he announced that he would have to relinquish the Universal Championship to do a very serious battle with leukemia. He came out this past Monday night to a huge ovation from the crowd. The fans were chanting, "Welcome back, this is your yard," a lot of different stuff. They weren't booing him like they've been in the past. They cheered for him, said "Welcome back." An emotional speech from Roman saying thank you to the crowd. Thank you to the WWE Universe for all the support and the love that they've shown to him throughout this ordeal and this whole thing. Basically, saying that he's a believer in faith, a believer in God, that God gave him the strength to fight through this. He then announced that he was in remission and that he was back. So the big dog is back. Pretty much, like I said, a very emotional speech, very heartfelt speech given by Roman Reigns this past Monday night. And then, of course, the next day you had people saying that all this is all a work. Saying that he really probably didn't even have leukemia. Then of course this I believe it was the Leukemia Society, or I think it's in the United Kingdom, spoke or sent out some words about it to those people that that probably said about oh, why is he, why does he still have his hair? Why hasn't he lost any weight or anything like that? We don't know the scenario. We don't know, if, he probably, he did his battle with leukemia that he had been battling for 11 years, and, it returned. And, I think people just, looked at that whole situation, the way the crowd was cheering for him, considering that, the crowd was booing him. And people probably thought, maybe it is maybe it's a work, that they wanted to get sympathy for Roman. Who knows? But, everybody has their own opinion. Everybody's going to say what they want, so it is what it is. But a very emotional speech, a very heartfelt speech by Roman Reigns this past Monday on Raw, thanking the fans for their support and their love. We saw the continuation on Raw this past Monday night, involving the whole Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair situation. Ronda Rousey was in a tag match this past Monday night with Natalya. Of course, Ronda is the current Raw Women's Champion. She is scheduled to face Charlotte Flair for the title at Mania. But everybody knows already the plan for that one is going to be a triple threat. How they get there, I don't know. How they're going to, include everything and get everything settled. But she was in a tag match this past Monday with Natalya facing the Riot Squad. Becky Lynch, who had been suspended for 60 days and was told not to show up or you'd be arrested, or she'd be arrested, came through the crowd. She attacked Natalya with a crutch, which resulted in a disqualification. Basically saying, basically just her and Ronda started going at it outside the ring. The officials came down to break it up. The police came. They arrested Becky. They dragged her out of the building. Then Ronda would after helping Natalya a little bit up the ramp, would come back to the ring and basically call out Vince McMahon, just saying, Vince, get out here right now. Get out here. Stephanie would come out. Basically, Ronda would just make the case of that Stephanie needs to reinstate Becky and put her in that match for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania. Stephanie said no. Ronda was like, you know what? Think about your legacy. Think about what this would mean to your three daughters. All this stuff. Stephanie then said no again. And then Ronda would proceed to basically tell Stephanie that, you know what, this title's worthless. She would, and that they need to make the right decision. It's time for them to make the right decision. And she laid the Raw Women's title at Stephanie's feet and then left. So we'll have to wait and see what happens next week on Raw as far as that whole situation. We did hear from Charlotte Flair last night on SmackDown, who stated that she will be at Raw this Monday night, so that Vince McMahon can crown her the new Raw Women's Champion and all that stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as far as that whole messed up thing is concerned. So pretty much my thought on that whole situation with them three, when it was first announced that they were going to put Charlotte in that matchup and make it a triple threat, I was a little upset. I was a little disappointed. I wish they would have had it one-on-one between Becky and Ronda, because Becky won the Royal Rumble. She was able to choose which champion she wanted to face. She chose Ronda Rousey, so it should have been one-on-one. But I'm like everybody else. I was upset when I read that was going to be turned into a triple threat match. But it's time to move on. It's time to move on. So it is what it is. So moving on in the recap as far as Raw is concerned. Of course, the last thing to talk about as far as Raw was that it was Ric Flair's 70th birthday celebration that turned into something that looks like it's going to be setting up a match for WrestleMania involving Triple H and Batista. Basically what happened was the roster was on the ramp. A couple of good friends of Ric Flair were in the ring, like Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Stephanie, I believe Ricky Steamboat was there, if I remember correctly, Sting. They were all in the ring. Stephanie then unveiled a custom WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt with Ric Flair's name on it in the nameplate. They would then they would then shoot to the back where Batista was dragging this cameraman, or pulling this cameraman to Ric Flair's locker room. He would then tell the cameraman to stay still, don't move. He would go into Ric Flair's locked dressing room. You would hear a loud bang, like he was beating up Ric Flair, and then when the door opened, Batista would be shown dragging Ric Flair out of the locker room, and then laying him down on the ground, and then looking at the camera and saying, "Hey, Hunter, do I have your attention now?" And this kind of goes off of what happened at the SmackDown 1000th episode, as far as Batista's comment towards Triple H that Triple H has never beaten him, and that whole thing. So obviously this is probably a way of setting up these two to face off at WrestleMania. If it happens, we'll wait and see. But that was pretty much it. Pretty much the conclusion of Raw. Triple H running to the back to check on Ric Flair, see if he was okay. So we move on to SmackDown, last night's episode, where we saw the return of Kevin Owens. KO is back. New arm tattoo as well. Apparently in that time off he got an arm tattoo or something like that. So they started off SmackDown with the contract signing for the WWE Championship match at Fastlane with Kofi Kingston and WWE Champion Daniel Bryan. They came out. Daniel Bryan signed his name. Kofi was going to sign his, but Vince McMahon's music hit. He would come out and announce that, I want to thank you, Kofi, for everything that you've done, but you're not getting your title shot at Fastlane coming up a week from Sunday. The person that is going to be none other than the returning Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens came out. He signed the contract, so it's going to be Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. Now, for those of you that probably were upset that happened, no worries. There's always WrestleMania where Kofi will probably get his opportunity at the WWE Championship there. Hopefully he does. I think he deserves his shot. But only time will tell. But like I said, nothing really else happened on SmackDown. The main event of last night's SmackDown was Kevin Owens and Kofi Kingston teaming up to face Rowan and Daniel Bryan, if I remember correctly. And that saw Kevin Owens pick up the win with the Stunner, which apparently WWE approved of, for Kevin Owens to use the Stunner, like the Stone Cold Stunner version, and he picked up the win for his team. So a big building momentum heading into Fastlane a week from Sunday for Kevin Owens. But that was pretty much it. I mean, that was pretty much it as far as, some of the key points of both Raw and SmackDown for this week's episodes. If you guys watched both shows, what did you guys think of both shows from this past Monday's Raw as well as last night's SmackDown Live? Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. And who do you guys see walking out of Fastlane as the WWE Champion? How do you guys think they're going to get to the whole Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey triple threat match? Let me know what you guys think. I thought they did really well this week, but I'd like to hear what you guys think. So let me know what you guys thought of both shows in the comments below. This has been my Raw and SmackDown key points recap for this week's episodes. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.